I'm kind of pitching myself here as somebody who's an experienced investor, but always, I'm definitely new to this business as well. I just want to speak about this product and just how much, it has really helped me, propel myself, get better with talking with sellers, actually be able to close a deal. My strategies right now have been primarily direct mail, cold calling, and cold texting. And I've found a lot of success with Real Estate IQ, especially being able to get in front of customers, have engaging conversations. And of course, I'm hoping to use all of that to build my own business and eventually retire off.
Excited to be here, and I want to say a big thank you to Real Estate IQ. They have the absolute top leads in the industry and just make investing effortless for all of us as real estate investors here in Texas and obviously everywhere else that they're focused. And I'm proud to be associated with Real Estate IQ. Love what you guys do and love how you all help investors so that we can focus on the thing that makes us the most money, which is the job of real estate investing.
I wanted to jump on this morning and give a shout out to Real Estate IQ. I began my journey with them a few years ago, just using some of the more basic products, the off-market leads. And since then, growing and visiting and talking with not only Steve, but other people who are involved with Real Estate IQ, I've had the opportunity to actually not only be a client, but I also became an investor with them. And that is one of the beauties of being able to be part of Real Estate IQ, is it gives you the opportunity to grow as an investor, especially in real estate.
All right, let's get started, everybody. And welcome and happy Thursday. How's everyone doing? Okay, so this live stream is brought to you by our host organization, Real Estate IQ. A couple of key items that we do to support investors in their journey is that the most popular product that we have is the off-market motivated seller leads, right? That's an off-market leads. And these are cold leads, right? So you got to do the outreach on these motivated sellers. We know they're motivated to sell. And the question is, can we get in touch with them? And are they in the stage where they want to sell? Okay, and then you can start moving on to closing the deal and putting it under contract. Now, we also start launching a couple of programs such as the deals program and funding. Everything is really geared towards adding value to you and really helping you to solve the different problems in your kind of deals journey when you're really focused on a particular deal, or when you're growing your business, how do you scale it and do more properties. And today we have Tamla here with us. And we are going to talk about the deals that we're doing right now. Now, I only have one single screen here. I'm gonna advance and kind of try this out and see if we are able to really see it and do it live. I think I can. All right. Okay. Some success stories that we want to feature. We got a couple of new success stories here. The first one I wanted to share is Brian. Brian shared this with me actually a couple months ago, and now we get to put it on a slide and feature it. And Brian was sharing with me his story of how he got his first deal and figure everything out by himself, and really help this seller out in helping her stop her foreclosure. And he was able to make $10,000 off of that deal, which is kind of the average profit that we see in a wholesale. And Brian's actually going to join our Deal Makers program. So welcome, Brian. We'll talk about the Deal Makers program shortly. Chris was able to also find deals with Real Estate IQ, and he says that Real Estate IQ is the best source for lead generation. And this is actually kind of a common theme that we hear from our clients is that, and actually for my personal experience as well, is that we can try the different ways of looking at deals. And until we started using all the data to be consistently doing outreach, we were having trouble getting consistency in our lead generation and building up our pipeline. So that has been useful. Now, these are a couple of kind of older testimonials. I'm going to skip them over for the sake of time. Consistency, right? It's all about consistency. Okay, so this live stream or this webinar is for educational purposes only, and we don't offer investment or financial legal advice. Okay, we're just going to share some experiences and case study. And if you're needing help, you got a hot lead. Okay, if you're already talking to a homeowner and they are wanting to sell, and you kind of see that as a investment opportunity, you need help with closing, we can help you with that. So you can just send your deal to me. We've got a couple of folks that have already taken advantage of this, and we're kind of moving some along to get them to close. Today we have Steve and Tamla speaking. And Tamla, we're gonna welcome you up here. All right, so this is our agenda. First 5 minutes, we're gonna go over welcome and introduction, which we kind of already did. And then we'll talk about some recent market updates and our case study. And then we'll talk about feature topics and deal pitch, closing, and so on and so forth. So a couple of market updates. Okay, we got some big updates. And we just had our second consecutive interest rate cut. And now the federal cut brought it down by another quarter point, and it's the lowest since 2022. And the speculation is that this is due to the concern over rising layoffs at major companies and the economic fallout from the ongoing government shutdown. This is the second cut in a row, right? We just had one in September, and we just had another one. Now, there is divided policy views and missing data from the shutdown. People are saying, well, you don't have the data. How did you make that decision of dropping another quarter point? There's some debates about that. But now the mortgage rate is close to 6%. Mortgage rate and the interest rate, Fed interest rate is, they are not directly tied. There's some dynamics between the two, but the fact that we are looking at another interest rate cut, that's good news in general for the economy, and the credit is starting to ease. All right, and today we're going to look at the DFW area and the market update. So we're seeing home prices has dipped in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and the median home is down about 2.5%. And we're also kind of look at it from different counties too. So in Dallas County, the properties fell 1.6%. And in Collin County and Denton County, about 6%. Okay, if you got questions or comments, feel free to share your thoughts. The bottom line is that the DFW real estate market is becoming more accessible for buyers, and there are more homes to choose from and less upward price pressure. Now, of course, affordability is still a challenge, and the mortgage rate, if it continues to kind of drop, it's going to help with the market, with affordability, and bring more buyers into the market. And obviously, if the mortgage rate continues to drop, it's also good news for investors too. It makes our financing a little bit easier. So we're gonna welcome Tamla on here. Catherine, if you could add Tamla to the stage. We're gonna share some progress of our deal today. Tamla just made some of these photos on our property.
Yeah. Good morning or good afternoon, everyone. I do have a helper this morning. She's decided she wants to be in my lap. So,
Oh, okay. I know who you are.
So Blue is going to join us. This is the 1-bedroom, 1-bath unit that we purchased this property about 6 weeks ago, 6 to 8 weeks ago. The main unit is a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, which was finished out and ready to rent. We had that rented within about a week and a half. And this is the little 1-1 unit that was not finished. It's not finished out when we purchased it. It was, the walls were done, the ceiling was done, but there was no kitchen. There was a bathroom, there was no kitchen. And as you can see here, we have put the doors up for the closet. There was no closet doors. There was not a dedicated living area and a dedicated sleeping area or bedroom. And there was no kitchen at all in the unit. So as you can see here, we have started putting the new kitchen in. And we have dedicated we have decided which room was going to be the bedroom and which was going to be the living area, closed in the closet with doors. So we've started doing that. We took the wall out in the kitchen area, as you can see there from the picture. You can notice on the bottom, that was a very small little room. It was a 6x5 room. It already had the plumbing. It already had the electrical in it. It's going to be a very, very tight and tiny kitchen. So I talked with our contractor about being able to take the wall out and open the kitchen up, which we did. We had to put a header beam in the top to reinforce the ceiling, because that was my mind just went blank there. That was it had to have that for the to hold the ceiling up. We've got our kitchen cabinets in. We will be painting these. We are putting in a small apartment size refrigerator and a small apartment size range in here. Later today, I'll be over taking pictures. They should have the backsplash up. So I'm looking forward. They may even have the countertop on. We'll see how we get there.
And Tamla, I think, we're expecting this unit to be ready pretty soon. And you shared with me the other day that we already got inquiries on this. Can you share with us kind of a little more of like how do people find out about the unit being available and all that?
Okay, we have a property manager, and anytime anyone calls in about a property, she keeps the list going.
Got it.
And this is how we know that we've already had inquiries on it, because she will call the people that are on the list and let them know, the ones that are looking for a 1-bedroom, 1-bath or a small apartment. She calls them and she lets them know that they are available, that we've got one coming up. It's available. This unit right here will be an all bills paid unit. So the rent will be a little bit more. We will pay for the yard maintenance. We pay for the water, the sewer, the trash pickup. And we will initially be paying the electric. We do have this one where we will know how much electricity is being used. And the tenant will be billed separately for the electric bill by our property manager on this unit.
Got it. And then we also got a couple more pictures on the outside that you share with me.
Yes. That is where the new boards are up. That is where we had an exterior door going in. This property had basically two exterior doors side by side. I mean, they were like 3 feet apart. I made the decision to close in one of the property exterior doors, the one going into the bedroom. And I did that for safety reasons. I would not want to live in an apartment that had the door going into my bedroom from the outside. Then that's just me. Also, you can see where we put a new fence up, dividing the yard between unit number 1 and unit number 2.
Yeah, we talked about that a couple of weeks ago. Yeah.
Yeah, and this property has a really nice size yard now. Both units have a nice size yard. This one has a really nice size yard for a 1-bedroom, 1-bath apartment. And the fence looks absolutely fantastic. I'm very pleased with the way this looks.
Nice and solid.
Yes, and the tenant will have, if the tenant is a gardener, they'll have plenty of room to garden, to have a little cookout there. It's a really nice place, nice big yard for a 1-bedroom, 1-bath, and privacy. They have total privacy.
This is in the opportunity zone, right? All the properties in Groesbeck right now is
yes.
Opportunity zone.
This is in the opportunity zone. This is one of the reasons we are looking in Groesbeck is because it is an opportunity zone. The other reason is because we do want to improve the quality of housing for people in Groesbeck. Groesbeck is hurting for good quality rental properties and homes to purchase. Right now, we're focusing more on the rental properties, and we're trying to give people a really nice place to live.
Mm-hmm. I think that's wonderful. It's a good mission.
So, and here again is more of the fence. You can see more of the new fence. And like I said, the yard is just really, really nice. There's a little porch in the front. So if someone wanted to sit on the covered front porch, they could. And it is private all the way around. We have a fence all the way around this property. It butts into the side of the property. To enter into the front door, you have to go through the privacy gate to come into the yard and into the unit. And I would love to find more of these like this, because I think this is a really nice thing. If you don't want anyone coming to see you, you can always lock that privacy gate and no one can get in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we're expecting this to cash flow pretty well. You know, we bought this owner finance. You know, one unit basically kind of covers the finance payment with the previous seller, and then this is, you know, the rent from here is kind of pure gravy.
Yes. The other unit actually pays for all of our expenses: the tax, the insurance, and the mortgage.
Yeah. Hey, Tam, I don't know if you guys what your plans are this afternoon, but because I'm gonna be driving back from Houston. You know, I wanted to see if I can stop by and take a look, put my eyes on it, just like walk the property. Because last time I just stopped by.
Yes, definitely.
So let's see if that can happen. We'll plan on that.
Sounds good.
Thank you. Okay, so a couple of featured deals. Actually, I'm on a road trip right now. I just came from Austin, and now I'm in Houston, seeing some properties, you know, meeting some friends and deal partners. We saw some really cool properties. I shared some photos with Tamara too, by Lago Vista. So those are coming up. Now, these are the ones that are already available. Okay, we got Baytown property that's asking for of $130,000. You know, these are kind of, I guess, a best asking price. You know, these numbers are negotiable. Okay, and this is the exterior photo. If you want to see the house and see more photos, we'll have those available. And there's a lockbox code available too. Okay, so this one's in Baytown. This one is in Deer Park. Okay, so these are all pretty close to each other. The asking price on this one is a little bit higher because the ARV is close to, it's more than $500,000. Big loss too, pretty good loss size. And then we have a Corpus Christi one, also 82,000. Right, so if you're interested in these, fill out our deals program form, or you can reach out to me and then we'll get this going. So next we have, okay, these are some coming up. So again, depends on where you're looking for deals, where you're acquiring, and so on and so forth. These are the ones that we are working on right now. So the enrollment of the Dealmaker is closed, but I kind of promised to talk a little bit about it. The Dealmaker program is geared towards somebody that is already experienced and they want to have a pipeline of, selling appointments and leads. So this is what we offer. We also offer a liquidity program to just help you acquire properties. We have connections with lenders that would lend up to 100% financing. So based on some of the conversation I've had with the folks that are actively doing deals right now, a lot of times the 100% financing is very, very attractive. Okay, these are track records. Okay, the Deal Accelerator program is for new folks, right? New people that are just getting started. They may have already gone through a coaching program, but they want a little more kind of hands-on, one-on-one training and mentorship. So these are the trainings and kind of walkthrough and the programs that we offer you. And we also have some really good, nice track records. Only 2 spots available. And we already got a lot of applicants. And so if you want to, kind of put your name in the hat, scan that QR code. And then Real Estate IQ has a really awesome deal right now. If you are a new client or you haven't used our system for a while, for many years, and you kind of, with the interest rate kind of coming back down, we're seeing a lot of interest in the off-market motivated seller data. And so this is a really awesome offer we have. And just for the first 25 people that claim it, we already got quite a bit of folks that took advantage of it. So it's less than 25 now. You get the leads, you get regular updated data. It's pretty much updated on a daily basis. We're monitoring the county for new filings. And there's also a fix and flip workshop as a bonus. And that's about $500 in value, everything that ranges with the teaching material along with all the kind of templates that you need to manage contractors and so on and so forth. So lots of bonuses. And only $500 in actually we sell that as well. And for this, we want to package it all together so you can really enjoy this and set yourself up for next year. Okay, and the bonus ends today. Scan the QR code to take advantage. Okay, here's another QR code. All right, next we have a slot for Mr. John Huang here to join us. Actually, John's right here. Hello, John.
Hey. How's everyone doing? Tamla, good to see you. Good deal. I love the backyard. It's just gorgeous, especially in this fall season.
It is, and I'm really looking forward to getting in there and putting in some plants, and it's just,
Get some plants. You're right.
Yes.
Get some plants. Make it
Yes.
look more prestigious. It's beautiful. And I see that backyard. Is that facing south? Is it?
Actually, it's facing west.
West. Okay, so plenty sunshine, beautiful lanyard. Wow, good deal. Good deal. I don't know if y'all read a feng shui. That looks like it's a very good fortune built-in feng shui over there on that property.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I've really gotten attached to that property. I'm just, well, I get attached to all of them, but I'm just, every time I walk in there, I'm like, yes, 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 it's looking so good. And I'm really looking forward to getting that kitchen done.
Mm-hmm. Congrats. I'm sure all the participants here will get a chance to tour some of the properties that Tamla, Steve, and we walk through, and we put our eyes on. It turns out that it's not that you don't know how to find the property. You just need to find the good property, like this one, right? I mean, you put your fingers on it, and it turns into gold. That's what the beauty of this group is about. Wonderful. Thank you. So I'm going to share my desktop, folks. I'm really pumped up and fired up.
Very exciting.
I'm going to share something interesting. Okay, folks. I'm going to talk about some trick the wealthies use. Okay, the wealthies they use, and we're going to talk a little bit about the strategies each individual family, average American families should not need, but should be aware of. Okay. And it's a shame that our education system does not expose all these good strategies, educations to our awareness. And so we're using our platform to promote those. And not only that, we even got a bunch of a license and to be qualified to speak about those, because we don't want to be, kind of a half a talking about it here, say. We want to be authentically representing the right information for all of y'all, for our study groups, for our deal groups, everything. All right, so I'm going to share my desktop. All right, good. Y'all remember 2 weeks ago, I was talking about tax strategy? Yeah, last week, unfortunately, I was bogged down by some of the church activities. I wasn't able to join y'all. We have a meeting, a pastor's meeting. Oh, if you don't know, I am a pastor. I'm an ordained pastor, chaplain as well. Yeah, and that's the real deal, right? My life is not only save your tax, save your money, or your health insurance, right? But to save lives and save spirits, save souls. So yes, sorry about that. Otherwise, we will be consecutively talking about money, talk about tax, talk about strategy, talk about the different investment vehicles, and some of the strategies that you are not aware, like in end of this year now, right? As a business owner, there are certain things you can do with all the profits you put in the bank. And for those who have kids ready to go to college, say 2, 3, 4 years ahead of a time, you need to prepare for that as well. For those who already knew that, my older son is in college. He is in the junior year now. As a matter of fact, he is overseas. He is studying at the Oxford University. Yes, he attended one of the best universities in the country, and then now is the number one in the world, right? I mean, how do we get so fortunate about that? Well, money is a big thing. But one of these sessions, Steve, we should mark it down. I would like to give each of you a little bit of kind of a snippet into how to prepare for college fundings, college, resources to send the kids to the best school. Let me just plant a little dynamite here. Going to the top universities is cheaper than going to state universities. Let me say that one more time. Yes, you heard me clearly, but I want to make sure you hear me again. That is authentic. Okay, going to the top universities is actually cheaper than going to state universities. We could, my son was admitted to UT Austin honor program. I don't know if anybody knows about that. That's almost like equivalent to like Harvard level of quality, right? but we didn't go because it will cost me more, cost him more to go to that place. Then it's a $32,000, right? Yeah, it's expensive. But we're going to the #1 liberal arts school in the country is actually cheaper. How is that possible? Yep, that's some strategies I want to introduce you on. Okay, but anyway, let's focus on today's topic. And I just want to, Stephen and I and our team were talking about how we can benefit each of the member here, inner circles, and the people, that work really hard, that strive so earnestly to make the living or hopefully make the life so that they can retire and they can send their kids on the right pathway as well. How do we benefit y'all? We think, deals are important, but there are more things than deals that we need to look around about. We need to be aware of, right? And as a matter of fact, that's how we planned it, this session, this half an hour, to talk about the different topics, to bring these awareness to your household, your friendship, in your circle, so that we all benefit from each other, from the knowledge, right? Knowledge is not a power. Mastering the knowledge is the power. Okay. Yeah, Francis Bacon says, well, people quote him all the time, knowledge is power. No, knowledge is just a piece of dirt, right? You got to master it. You got to leverage it. Then it is power. Okay, so, and I promised during the 2 weeks ago in the tax strategy session, I said, I'm going to give you something really shockingly interesting called buy, borrow, die strategy. If you're in the real person, I'm going to ask how many people you heard about that, right? Raise your hand. In a room full of 100 people, okay, if I would ask them, how many of you have a driver's license? Everybody raise hand. I'm going to ask how many of you have life insurance? Probably 1/3 of the room raise their hand. How many of you, if I ask, how many of you knew the tax strategies? It's probably only, 5 people keep their hands up. But if I ask them, do you know the strategy called the buy, borrow, die, BBD? All hands will be done. Okay, so today you are blessed. So I'm going to give you this strategy. The secrecy is a known strategy and a known secrecy, but unfortunately we are not known. Okay, so let's talk about it. But before we talk about BBD, we need to talk about something called CAN. What is CAN? Okay, CAN is what I call cash asset net worth. You need to understand the CAN. Okay. I have a very sophisticated version of it to educate and to teach and hold, clients' hands on it. But today we're going to look at just some of the schemy part of it. Okay, and it's important. It is super, super important before we jump onto the BBD. All right. So what is a cash asset net worth? Well, first of all, y'all heard cash is king, right? Especially when the interest was high. And Stephen and I, we organized these, deal sessions, and we actually invite private equity, private lenders to join us, and so that can resolve your cash flow problem, right, in making the deals happen. As a matter of fact, we're in negotiation with one of the very successful private lender in DFW area to join our session. Okay. And hopefully we're going to announce the good news that they come and then probably sign some deals with you. Cash is king. But yes, but have you ever heard about something else? It's called net worth is kingdom. Have you ever heard about that? Yeah, cash is a king. But king can be overrun, right, by some warlords. So unless you set up a kingdom, the wealth and the prestiges and all that is not going to be inherited by your generations to come. Okay. I always admire those folks and say, oh, my children, I don't care about them. I only care about me. I only want to enjoy my life and have a good, retirement, have a fun. I got it. I admire you. Okay. I'm not criticizing you. I'm just admiring you. Right. But coming from maybe as Oriental culture or a different kind of a mentality. And I know when this country was founded 200 years ago, 200 almost 250 years ago, as of next year, all the immigrants, all the people, the founding fathers, founding parents, they all thought about setting up this country in a way that generations and generations will benefit from it. So since when this whole generational planning stopped? I don't know. I'm not a sociologist. I'm not a politician, so I don't know. But I do think we're losing it. Okay. Hopefully you agree with me. But what we're saying here is inheritance, right? But more than inheritance. Do you know every year how much money is surrendered to the state, or primary is a state government? Basically, the money that nobody claims, okay, and the money just go to the state and sitting in the bank collecting nothing, no interest whatsoever, right? Do you know that? You probably don't know, right? Tons of it. And if you want to know, if you have such estate available from one of your relatives or whatever, let us know offline, and I can help you to find out with all my license and everything. Okay. So net worth is kingdom. All right. I'm going to bore you to death with a table, but we're not going to dwell on it. So this is the comparison between the cash flow, the asset, and then the net worth, right? The definition, what is a cash flow? Cash flow is a cash flow, right? Asset is something you own. It has economical value, right? What is net worth? Net worth is something like fantasy number. No, it's not. It's the total value of all assets and credit you own. Okay. It's something that represents how much you're worth in the market. Okay. In the market. And the purpose is different, all these three. And without bothering with all the details, I'm going to use a blank sheet of a paper to draw some charts for you. We're going to do some whiteboarding, okay? And to explain what a cash flow is, what assets, and what net worth is. All right, bear with me. We'll get started. This is a cash, okay, or cash flow. This is an asset. And this is net worth, NW. Okay, so cash flow is always a me story. What do you mean, John? Well, me story means it is about me. Individual has cash flow. Family has cash flow too, but me, okay? How is it measured? It is basically how much you earn, okay? How much you earn minus how much you expend, the expenses, and then that's your cash flow. Okay. And can you leverage cash flow? Yes, you can. Interesting enough, let's use a real estate as an example. The cash flow, if your salary is $50K a year, how much do you think they're going to loan you when you want to buy a property, right? They look at your paycheck. They look at the 3 months of a paycheck. They said, all right, that's consistent. You have a consistent cash flow coming in. They really don't care too much. The banks, they really don't care too much about your expenses, right? Even when you buy diamond ring every month and buy bolts every month, they don't care. They just look at your earnings statement. And then they said, all right, we give you 3 times to 5 times your salary. We can loan you that at a certain rate, okay? So cash flow usually comes from your job or business. Okay, it's a pure, it's clean, and it is the stack of a cash basically in your hand, right? That's what you get in your hand. And usually the leverage is 3 to 5 times. Okay, if you stop working, cash flow will stop, right? So a lot of the people work really hard, and they dare not to play, plumbers and then the AC guys. They're really busy now to make the last basket of a grass, the harvest before the winter comes. They're almost like hunters, right? So cash flow is determined by how the business run, by the seasonality, by, the economy, right? Everything affects your cash flow, Agreed? Hopefully agreed. Well, if you got a kid that goes to college, the cash flow will be reduced, right? You got someone sick, right? The cash flow will be dramatically reduced. Agreed? Or if you're, kind of 2 days ago, Amazon just announced that they're going to let go about 12,000 people. Intel just announced that they're going to lay off 25,000 people, right? Amazon, Intel, those are giant companies. The people used to have huge cash flows, right? But now these people will be on the street, right? If they didn't save up, they didn't equip themselves with asset and net worth, there will be problem, right? There will be on the food stamps and everything. Hopefully not, right? Because the government is still shut down, God's sake, right? Now let's talk about asset. Asset is different from a cash flow. Okay, cash flow is like the droplets of water, right? If the faucet stops, it stops. However, asset is like a well. It's a we story. Okay, it's like a well. So you can always draw water from the well, and actually for exchange of money, right? So usually we're talking about stocks, we're talking about house, okay? We're talking about gold. Gold just reduced about 10%, dropped 10%, even though it was over 4,000, right? Bonds, right? And some estate, right? Whatever that is. So those are typically called asset, right? Asset is something, before you pay off your debts or any expenses, those are the physical existence, of course, plus your cash, okay? The stash of cash in the bank, right? Those are called asset. And asset can grow. Cash flow doesn't grow. Cash flow is a droplets from the faucet, okay? It's on and off from your job or business, okay? It does not grow. It does not accumulate. But asset can accumulate and can grow at a decent rate. Typically, we use a 4% as a comparison because we're in real estate business, right? If you're in a long-term rental, your return, cash on cash return is roughly about a 4 to 5%, right? And you're doing extremely well, right? And the thing is, asset can be leveraged very well, right? Your business is also an asset, just so you know, right? So the leverage is much better than the cash flow, okay? A lot of times you can get 5 times leverage to even 10 times leverage. Well, rarely you get 10 times unless it's a business, but your asset usually is 5 times more leverage you can borrow, you can use. And now, we have to mention about tax, right? Cash flow usually means what? Usually means tax. If there is a water coming out from the faucet, guess what's going to happen? Uncle Sam is going to ask you for tax. Asset is not one time. It's taxed all the time, okay? Asset is usually taxed all the time, okay? The more assets you have, you are treated better by the IRS, hopefully, right? But if you want to leave that asset to the next generation, guess what's going to happen? You got to pay a big tax again, okay? Thanks to the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, right? The OBBBA, the inheritance tax is still stay on, multiple $1 million, right? $15 million, $17 million. So lifetime gifting, right? You can do that. But asset usually is affected by the tax laws and then the government ordinances and everything, right? Especially in high taxation state, asset tax is significant, right? So that's asset. Remember, you can borrow money against your asset, okay? And that's a really good deal. And asset can be left to the next generations as a legacy but there's taxation involved as well. Now let's talk about the net worth, a little bit of different concept, okay? Net worth is not a me, is not a we, and is about credit, or in other words, it's about a faith. Credit. John, what do you mean credit? Well, credit, well, let's use a simple examples as a credit card, right? You know, I just received a credit card company, Citibank, give me a notice and say, oh, John, congratulations, we just increased your credit line. I really don't need it, but they just increased my credit line again, right? For real estate business, that's a good news. You can borrow, especially interest rate is low now, right? You can borrow with the credit card debt. But, you know, how do they, you know, evaluate how much credit line I'm worth of? Well, based on the faith. Because they look at my spendings and they look at my record and they said, oh, your credit score is over 840. Great. We'll give you better credit. We'll give you free credit cards. We'll give you all kinds of benefits, right? But that's based on what? It's based on the thin air. You get it? It's based on the thin air. They don't have to look at how much asset I have, I own. Yes, they would appreciate to look at my asset list, but they only appreciate based on the faith and the credit I have. Okay, so let's make a list of what net worth is made of. Is asset? Yes. And my credit, that accounts for a lot of things, the credit. And a big chunk is my business. Oh, not only business, my business idea, my business experience. Okay, these are all counted as like, you know, my net worth. Do you know that? Yeah. Okay. Example. You know, there are individuals, they're hired upon, like the graduates from our training programs, right? They're not worth of nothing. They don't have a properties, they have nothing, but they have experiences, they have a certificates from us, right? And just like a diploma, you know, how much is the diploma is worth? Nothing. Okay. Yes, it costs the parents about 100 grand, but it's worth nothing unless people have a faith in that piece of paper and say, you know what, I'm going to hire you for $60,000 a year for that piece of paper, right? What is that? That's your net worth. That piece of paper is your net worth. Okay. Okay, let's keep going. What else is net worth? Well, surprising. Your life is your net worth. What? Yes, your life is your net worth. And of course, cash and whatever is your net worth. Okay, what does net worth and, you know, how is net worth leveraged? Well, good news is it started off about 10 times. Okay, your net worth is 10 times. Okay. Of course, they look at the asset and cash flow as well, but they would look at your net worth and give you 10 times of credit. Okay. This is what? This is a freedom. This is basically freedom. All right. And I'm going to give you another surprise. All right. What else is your net worth? Your debt is your net worth. Do you know that? Yep, the debt is your net worth. Well, remember that one indication was your credit actually go up if you own the debt and you pay off the debt on time and you manage your debt very well. Your credit score go up, right? See, that's a proof. Your debt is your net worth. So as a business owner, you always want to own properties, assets, and a business, but you also want to owe some debt because that debt is going to get you better credit and is a part of your net worth. So John, you're saying my debt is not negative, it's positive. Yep. Okay. That's something surprising you. Most of the average Americans would be like, no way. I owe a lot of credit card debts and that's my asset. No. That's not your asset. And that's not your net worth. If you only owe debt but no asset, that is your debt. However, if you have assets and you have your net worth somewhere, as I listed here, plus you have a debt, that debt is your net worth. Okay? Think about it. if you owe someone $1 million, how much is your worth? Well, you are worth of $1 million. Do you know that? Okay, you are worth of $1 million. But that's dead. Yes. Because if you are gone and nobody can have that money, right? Yeah, they give you yes, 10 times your age. No, Modena, it's not going to be your age. Okay. As a matter of fact, I'm going to show you a chart. I'm glad that you brought this up. So this chart is something I showed last time. Okay. Your net worth, you can borrow against your net worth about 10 times. Okay. It's important before we start talking about, the BBD, buy, borrow, and die, right? Very quickly, how much are you worth? That's your net worth. Is your human capital plus your financial capitals. Ooh, ding, 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 right? We're talking about financial capitals. That's your asset, use your business, use your everything. But human capital is how much your life is worth, okay? And in fact, the total amount of your net worth is these two together. Most of the time, we only look at the accumulation line. That's how much money I make, my cash flow, my asset accumulation, all that. But most of the people, they don't realize that the older they become, their human capitals are reducing. Yes, sorry, Modena. The older we become, the net worth of our human capital get reduced, right? So how do we retain the human capital? How do we retain our human capital? Here we go. We use something called life insurance. You got it. Yes. But there are other things too, right? Life insurance is an easy one to understand. Okay. So life insurance can lock in your human capital. Okay. So now let's talk a little bit about, so with all the concepts that you have, right? Let's talk a little bit about what I wanted to show you on the BBD, okay? Before we get too deep into that. First of all, this is most of the working class family allocations. They have a lot of 401ks, a stock, a mutual funds whatsoever, or nothing. But they have a no tax-free, they have a no risk savings whatsoever. And some of them get into real estate or other businesses, and they got the non-liquid assets, a bunch of them, 50% or even 70%, right? So if you look at their total capitals from the human capital and the financial capitals per se, it's only financial capitals, and it's very little, okay? Especially when there are health risk and a job risk and a college risk, a retirement risk, a market risk, a tax risk. I mean, they're widely exposed. It's running nakedly, okay? However, if we help them to transition a little bit into a healthy balance between human capitals and grow the human capitals and grow the financial capitals and make a good combination, this is where they can maximize hopefully their human capital to turn that into net worth, and also help them to build up their financial stabilities, counter the risk from the market, from a job, from all these things. Okay, makes sense so far? Okay, so yes, real estate is great. We're in real estate. Steven and I both in real estate. I'm in real estate for over 15 years, right? We do investment, private loans, and all that. Yes, we have rental houses too. Yes, we do that. However, I need to maximize other things. For instance, tax-free, tax defer, and also risk-free, market risk-free investments, all that, right? Okay, so now let's talk about buy, borrow, and die. Okay, the fun topic. And next time, if I'm invited back by you, I may talk a little bit more how to realize it, how to make it happen in your household, in your business. But today, I only give you a flavor. Okay, so in the buy phase, basically, it's accumulation of your asset and your net worth. Okay, so for instance, you get more properties, you get more stocks and the bonds, you get more insurance, and you actually make a better jobs, better salaries, all that. That's buy phase, accumulating the appreciating assets. Again, I love the book from Robert Kiyosaki. Let me see. Yes, I have the book in front of me. It's called Cash Quadrant. Okay, not the Rich Dad Poor Dad thing. Rich Dad Poor Dad is just fun topic is that he's a sales pitch, but the real deal is about this book, okay, called Cash Quadrant. And he talks about what is asset, what is not asset. Okay, the house you live in is not asset. Okay, the house, and unless you make money out of it, anything that can grow and accumulate is called asset. If it just stay there like a piece of gold, right? In the average day is not asset. It's just a piece of gold. Okay, and like all the bricks you put in the backyard, right? Are they assets? No, they're not assets. They're not accumulating. Okay, they're just sitting duck there doing nothing, collecting dust, right? So that's the most important concept is asset, appreciating asset, always grow, like a stock, mutual fund, and rental properties, right? You rent it out, you make money out of it, right? Okay, good. But this is the buy phase, very simple, but we can go deeper on that. But then the borrow. The next stage is called a borrow. Well, what? Why borrow? Okay, I'm gonna shock you. Buckle your seatbelt. Okay, because the loan proceeds are not considered taxable income by the IRS. So you borrow. So wait a second, John. I need cash to do my business. I need cash to pay for my boats, my private jet. I need a cash to send my kids to college, right? To pay for the long-term care for my grandparents and all that. And you're saying I'm gonna borrow credit card debts? Nope. What I'm saying is you borrow against your asset. Okay? Okay, wait a second. Let me give you an example. If you have a stock, you have $100,000 stock. Okay? Yes, it's there. Do you cash them out, pay the tax, and then use the leftover for the investment for whatever you need? No, you don't. You borrow against them. Okay? Wealthies never sell stocks, okay? Unless it's strategic. Otherwise, they only borrow money against their stocks and the bonds and assets. They don't sell them. Only average Americans and the poverty-driven mindset would sell stocks, sell the assets for exchange of a cash. But before you cash in, you have to pay the huge taxation. Okay, the rich and the wealthies, not rich, only the wealthies, generational wealthy build up. They borrow against their assets, their net worth. Well, wait a second, John, you give an example about a life insurance. Can you borrow against a life insurance? Yes. I'm glad you asked that. You are so smart. You can borrow against your life insurance too. You can borrow against your 401k. Don't borrow from 401k. You borrow against your 401k. Okay. Yeah, we can't go into too much details because my time is up. All right. And then, yeah, this is all the strategy next time we can talk about. And then you die. Okay, so what's the goodness of a dying? Okay, you want to hear this? I'm going to end this with a good surprise. When you die, the proceeds from life insurance you accumulated under your net worth is going to pay all the debt. Your debt is written off by your life insurance. Guess who's going to have all the assets? Your children, the children's children. Nobody touches anything. So basically the whole life of yours doing business, having fun and buying your private jets and all that is somebody else's money. And you don't pay any tax on all the growth and accumulations and cash flows that you generated from your assets. Isn't that good? In the end, nobody's a payoff. You don't even pay out of your pockets of your debts against your assets and net worth. Insurance company pay for it. So we use a bank, we use investment, and we use insurance to do all these work for your family, your generations to come. All right, my time's up. And if you're interested, let us know and we can talk more about how to do these. But without further ado, I'm gonna yield the stage back to my dear friend Steve.
I love it. I love it. Thank you, John.
You're
I
welcome.
took a screenshot of the last part.
Oh, you can't do that. That's infringing my. No, you of
There was
course.
a lot of text. I was reading.
But just for a serious token, right? All these is to give you a referential information. Treat these just as a informational, not a advice on investment or whatsoever. If you're really serious, we can talk offline. Okay. All right. Back to you.
So we got a couple of questions for John, but first, Tamla wanted to bring up the homework we have for everybody.
How many found a deal this past week, and bring it forward if you found one?
So you can send it on chat. And if you haven't, you can find one next week and bring it up to us.
That's right. That's right. Remember, the formula that I use is 70% of the ARV, which is the after repaired value, minus the repairs, minus the holding cost and the closing cost. And when you come up with that number, that should be around your offering price.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Okay, so we look forward to everybody's deals that you find next Thursday. Now, John Medina has a couple of questions here.
Yeah, I think I addressed them a little bit along the way, but give you credit based on 10 times your age. No, it's the opposite. The older we become, the less human capitals we're worth of. Okay, so that's why certain financial instruments, you want to get them as early as possible. Like lately, I helped a individual in my church to acquire she's 62, and then she was worried about her health and everything. So we were talking about how to leverage health insurance, but turned out she would really need something called a long-term care insurance, which is going to guarantee her a cash endowment when she is getting a long-term, like a dementia or disability. The insurance will pay her $5,000, no question asked, and tax-free, right? So essentially, she got that. It only cost her about $500 a month to get that. So, however, if she delayed that, or if she picked that up at age of 50, it's going to reduce from $560 to like $200. Yeah, why is that? Because your life is a worth of money. It's your net worth, right? It's not your asset, but it's your net worth. The younger you pick up some instruments, financial instruments like that, it's much, much cheaper because you can make more money. You have a more potential to make a higher income. So it's the opposite, Modena. Okay. And the second question, I already addressed that. Your life is based on your life insurance. No, it's the other way around. Your life insurance, your health insurance, like the long-term care is a health insurance, okay? But it's a combination with the life insurance and other retirement or pension, right? All these is the opposite of your age. And actually, the younger, the more money you actually have. Well, if people, so for instance, I'll give you an example. People at age of 80 still can pick up something like that. Why? That's $1 million question. Why? Why insurance company would sell to a person which, at age of 80 has no human capital by whatsoever? Well, because there are some smart people, they use some cash flow from their rental property to fund a product like that. And when they pass away, that goes up 4 times, 5 times, even 10 times. And they can put a lot of cash into the properties like that, in the assets of that, right? So it's a tax-free transition into their next generations. So a lot of we can offer you a lot of more ideas, but again, if you're interested, we can talk offline or talk to your tax attorneys, right? Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. That's why we have this discussion, so we can really kind of talk about. I think the financial literacy and financial education is very lacking in our curriculum or education that, it's not something that we get. And so just kind of picking that up. But this is one of the missions that we have, is to bring this to our community and really educate, because we got to have that financial education in order to build wealth, because otherwise we're just making money. And then, everything kind of just leaves and we go, what's going on? We make all this money, but we didn't keep any.
Yeah. You hit the nail in the head, my friend. Middle class families, we work really, really hard, and we put money into the college. We get a piece of paper, and then we work for 40 years, and hopefully, we save something. But on the other hand, the wealthies, I mean, again, I don't hate wealthies. I have a lot of wealthy friends, but I just admire their thinking. It's different, right? Yes, they get a piece of paper too. And do they find a job? Yes, they find a job as well. But what do they do afterwards? They invest in that invisible net worth a lot at early age, right? They still work hard, but you know what? The growth of their assets is 10 times, 20 times faster than yours and mine, okay? And tax free. That's the thing. Tax only go up more. Tax, the debt to GDP ratio is already 140%. That means we will have to raise the tax in this country as long as you live here. Otherwise, go to Russia, right? They give you money to move over there. but I don't know what you do with your life. But here, the tax only goes up and it goes up. One day, just like back in the 80s, if you're making $30,000, your tax rate, the top ratio is 50% already, right? Remember 80s Reagan time, it was a good life, everybody, right? But you pay a lot of a tax. So it's only going up more in the future. So if we're smart, and next time, maybe I'm going to talk about something called a CRT. It's a trust, okay? Some of you know land trust, but you don't know CRT. Hopefully one of these days, I'm still learning about that, okay? And I can show you how to do CRT, and then you save all the tax, okay? All the tax, literally, every penny.
Awesome. I look forward to that. Yeah. All right. So, Tamla, any parting words before I end the session? Our time's up.
Everybody have a wonderful week. Go find your deals and let's get them purchased.
It's best time to find deals. Oh, don't forget about tax lien as well. Yes.
Awesome. Well, have a good weekend, and we'll see you next Thursday.
God bless everyone. Thank you, Tamla. Thank you, Steve. See y'all later.